Oh, baby. Strong man found another grifter. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? He's a CPA. So in this video, I'm going to react to clear value tax. This video is titled, "The Crypto Market and Altcoins Will Skyrocket After the Bitcoin Halving." So I've heard of this guy before. You know, he's got a little YouTube channel. It's only got like, what, 1.5 million subscribers? And he's making some bank off YouTube. Can't deny that. And I also knew he was a certified CPA accountant, just like me. So I kind of took him at face value. And I mean, look at him. He's got a collared shirt on. He's got a nice little tie. And here I am, just a massive clown with my shirt off and a Lafufu hat. Who you gonna trust, bro? Anyway, I started to notice some interesting things about his channel. Okay, he talks about taxes, he talks about stimulus checks, he talks about the market. But all of a sudden, this CPA starts talking about cryptocurrency. That's interesting. Why is a CPA talking about cryptocurrency? Now, I can understand if you're talking about the taxation of cryptocurrency, 100%. But it almost seems like he's giving, I wouldn't call it advice, but he's giving his very strong opinion on where the crypto markets are going to go. Never forget, crypto is fundamentally worthless with no intrinsic value. And it really bothers me that a fellow CPA is talking about this garbage. And while he's not telling people to invest in cryptocurrency, I think a lot of people are probably watching this channel and taking some trading tips from this clown. So let's react to this video where he claps back at a YouTuber that criticized him. And maybe I'll get a clap back too there, clear value tax. Let's watch.
In today's video, I'm going to give you my crypto prediction on the next bull run. So if you don't know me, my mission is to help people escape the financial rat race. I'm just trying to help, and I hope you find this educational.
Right off the bat, I'm trying to help people escape the rat race. If you hear those words come out of somebody's mouth, they're probably full of crap, okay? I'm not going to say he's a scammer yet, but that's very suspicious to me. Because when you want to escape the rat race, you're generally unsatisfied with your current job, and you want to get out quickly. And what do you think you're most likely to do? Probably buy some highly speculative trash to try to make a quick buck so you can escape the rat race. You know how you escape the rat race? You make a YouTube channel, you shill all the most garbage investments that are popular, and boom, you get subscribers and ad revenue. That's how you escape the rat race.
Before I get into my prediction, it is very important that I show you this first so you know that I am not BSing you. I want to show you this video clip, and this is coming from May 18th of 2020. So we're talking about more than 2 years ago. Some YouTuber made a video about me. I don't know his name. I don't want to know his name. May of 2020. So take a look.
The last one we're going to talk about is Clear Value Tax, who seems pretty smart about this because he already probably analyzed the same information and realized that he does need to pivot and build out a community elsewhere. It looks like he's mostly focused on investing apps, which I think makes sense, as well as crypto, which I think is a bit weird, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, so he said that what I'm doing with cryptos is weird.
You know, I actually 100% agree with that guy. It's odd to me that a CPA, and remember, CPA is very highly educated when it comes to financial statements, taxes, auditing, and we get some economics training because that's one of the CPA, that's part of one of the CPA exams, BEC. But it's really strange to me because in the CPA exams, we really don't cover cryptocurrency and we really don't cover investing. If we do, it's a very small part of the CPA exam. CPAs, accountants are all about recording past transactions and compiling them into easily understandable financial statements. Or they file people's taxes, or they provide some kind of assurance services to investors and creditors into large corporations. That's what a CPA normally is qualified to do, okay? But when it comes to making predictions on cryptocurrency, I don't seem to remember that from the CPA exam. Maybe I'm a fraud. Maybe I'm not a real CPA. Maybe I just made it up this whole time. And I'm not saying this guy's not a CPA. I actually looked him up. I think I found him. And it looks like he is a CPA. But that's really odd that you're talking about cryptocurrency when it's a fundamentally worthless asset and it's barely covered in the CPA exam at all? Maybe they've added it to the CPA exam because it's a new thing, but holy freaking crap, man. Nowhere in the CPA exam do we cover crypto predictions. It's a little weird. It's almost like he's talking about a popular subject so he can get lots of views and subscribers and escape the rat race. Yeah.
But let's see what happens. You know what happens? I got people into Bitcoin at $3,000 to $5,000. I made people a lot of money. He made his video right about here, which I circled in red, and that was the price of Bitcoin at the time. He said that was weird of me because I was talking about cryptos before Bitcoin was all the craze and before it skyrocketed up. Now, let this be a lesson. This is a classic example of what separates people that know what they're talking about versus clueless people that criticize others. I want to be crystal clear. I have nothing against clueless people. I do have a problem with clueless people that criticize others. So I want
Tell me where on the CPA exam we covered cryptocurrency. Explain the intrinsic value of cryptocurrency. Give me an honest assessment of how you can predict the price fluctuations of a fundamentally worthless asset. It's impossible to do, clear value tax. It has no intrinsic value. This is not hard to understand. And I know you know this because you're a certified CPA accountant.
I want to throw some knowledge on this guy. In investing, the concept is you buy low and you sell high. So I was telling people in 2019 to get into cryptos when Bitcoin was in the $3,000 range. I don't see what's weird about that, but that's just my opinion.
It's weird because the intrinsic value of crypto is Bitcoin is zero. Zero. You buy it at 3,000, it can go to zero. You buy it at $1, it can go to zero. You could suffer 100% losses regardless. Look at all the other cryptos that have collapsed. You don't think that could happen to Bitcoin too because it's the big one? Something weird's going on in this crypto industry with all these exchanges collapsing. And with all these exchanges collapsing and people losing all their money, I think this may portend really negatively for the crypto industry as a whole, including Bitcoin. But you know what? I'll give you credit, clear value tax. You told people to buy Bitcoin before it was all the rave, even though it did have a massive spike a couple of years before that. And it went up. So you must know what you're talking about.
I want to give you a free lesson. With investing, buying low, that's not enough. Buying low is only half the battle. You need to know when to get out as well. You don't want to end up like Dogecoin Millionaire or Dogecoin Thousandaire. So I want to show you this. I made a video on February 8th of 2021. So that's right around here. The title of the video was Sell Your Bitcoin in April through October of 2021. The crash is coming in 2022. The title of the video. I mean, I could not have made that any more clearer. So I've circled April of 2021 and October of 2021. That's when I said to sell your cryptos. You show me anyone that has done better than me on cryptos on when to buy, when to sell, and a crypto crash warning.
Of course there was going to be a crash. It has no intrinsic value and it massively went up. And then you gave a range of dates and then you happened to circle basically the tops of both of those spikes on cryptocurrency. I'm not impressed, clear value tax. Please tell me your fundamental reason why you told people to sell. You don't know because you were just pulling crap out of your butt because nobody can predict this stuff. That's how this whole scam works.
And I want to see the proof because talk is cheap. And you may think, oh, I could have just changed the title of my video. Then I encourage you to watch my video for yourself, which I'll link down below. But I'll show you two clips from my video which cannot be modified after it's uploaded. So the first clip is in the introduction, literally the first second of the video. In this video, we're going to talk about when to sell Bitcoin. If you look at historical patterns, after Bitcoin halves, it goes on a bull run for about 12 to 18 months where the price, it just keeps on going up and up and up. But after that, it crashes. And it crashes very hard. We're talking 80% to 90%. And this cycle, it just keeps on happening over and over and over. And if you think that you're going to be safe in other coins, you most likely will not be, because when Bitcoin crashes, it takes down about 99% of all other coins. It drags them down as well. So we're going to talk about logically when to sell Bitcoin. I want you to keep in mind that that was the introduction of my video. So it wasn't like it was an obscure clip that was buried deep down there. That was how I started my video. And then at the 1 minute, 23 second mark, I gave you the prediction on when the bull market will end. Just based off the timeline, then we can predict that the next time the crash will happen, or the next time the bull market will end, will be somewhere in between April of 2021 until October of 2021. Okay, so you saw the video clips for yourself.
Oh my God, he predicted it. Now, number one, let's say that he did predict it 100% accurately. Okay, good job there, Clear Value Tax. Just because you predicted something right once doesn't mean it's going to happen in the future. And he also sits there and says, well, crypto goes through these cycles. Well, you know, past performance is not indicative of future performance. It gives us a window into where something could potentially go. But when it comes to cryptocurrency, going into the future from now, it could also go to zero. There could be a cycle where it literally drops to zero because suddenly regulations come in and hammer this crap. And I can foresee a lot of regulations starting to come into the cryptocurrency space because of the collapse of all these crypto brokers. So whatever happened in the past is completely irrelevant when it comes to cryptocurrency, okay? With stocks, you could generally predict, okay, if an index goes down, generally, as long as the economy gets better and people become more productive and, you know, companies become more profitable, the index will eventually recover. It's not the same thing for cryptocurrency because cryptocurrency has nothing underpinning it. It's literally a string of ones and zeros on the freaking internet. Do you understand the difference, ladies and gentlemen?
And you know that I'm not BSing. So the question is, how did I know that this was going to happen, and how did I know when it was going to happen? Do I have a crystal ball? Am I from the future? I'll respond with, you know why? It's because this ain't my first rodeo. It's called experience, competency, and analysis. Basically, due diligence. So the same thing happened in 2017 and prior. It was the same setup for 2022. And the cycle is set up to repeat in 2024. I want to tell you something so that you can save a lot of money. You can make a lot of money as well.
He's literally just looking at past cycles and projecting that into the future. Now, it could happen again, 100%, but nobody knows the future. That's why you don't touch this garbage, and that's why you don't bet your future on a fundamentally worthless asset that produces no cash flows, okay? The future is unpredictable. You can look at the past all freaking day. It means absolutely nothing, okay? This guy is giving me some major red flags here. You should have stayed in tax, buddy, okay? Maybe talked about stocks a little bit. Maybe analyzed some financial statements. I bet you're qualified to do that. But when it comes to cryptocurrency, you're just talking out of your butt. It's like, oh, look at this one prediction I made. And therefore, because I made one prediction right, I'm going to do it forever into the future. It's the same thing as Jeremy LaFufu saying, hey, I bought Tesla stock and it went up massively. I must know what I'm talking about. No, that's not true. More likely what happened is you got lucky there, buddy.
I look at these crypto YouTubers and influencers that just discovered cryptos in 2020. So it's your typical blind leading the blind. You know, I find it very funny and cute and cringeworthy as well. But anyways, I showed you those clips. If you don't believe me, you can ask CoffeeZilla. So CoffeeZilla makes videos of other YouTubers and influencers that are scammers or sketchy or don't know what they're talking about. So back in 2020, I spoke with CoffeeZilla on the phone, and he thought about trying to call me out for talking about cryptos. But he realized that I was right, and he decided to leave me alone, so you can ask him for yourself, which is why you will not see me on his channel. Now,
you know, I'll take him at his word. Maybe he did talk to CoffeeZilla. Now, if CoffeeZilla didn't see through this garbage, I don't know what to say, okay? CoffeeZilla, come on. This guy is obviously just pulling crap out of his butt. No one can predict where crypto goes, Coffee. Please do something about this, okay? And the next time he makes a mistake, which he will make a mistake, he will have a prediction wrong. I can 100% guarantee it because nobody is right. The second he makes that mistake, people are going to get massively hurt because you could be right 100 times and that one time you're wrong, you can get absolutely annihilated. And all that money you made in the past is gone forever. This happens time and time again. Somebody gets lucky. They make a ton of money. They think they're a genius. They keep repeating it. They say, well, I did that in the past, so I can do it in the future. And then they make another gamble, which cryptocurrency is gambling. And then if they buy the wrong crypto or they buy it at the wrong time because they thought they were going based on historical data, and then that cryptocurrency gets absolutely annihilated, which it could because crypto can go to zero in a freaking heartbeat, then you lose all your money and all those previous gains mean absolutely nothing. And you're back to square one. And you're not going to be able to quit the rat race there, okay? That's what I don't like about this. Oh, I had one prediction. I mean, I've talked about stocks that went up massively. Man, I'm a freaking genius. Of course, bro.
Let me tell you what I see happening with cryptos. In 2023, we're going to get a teaser rally. It's not going to be the big one. It's still going to be sizable. It's going to be similar to what happened in 2019. It'll be a bigger rally, but we'll give back the majority of the gains. Let me tell you about the real rally, the big one.
I can predict what's going to happen in 2023. Just like I'm sure he predicted the virus crash. I'm sure he predicted the war in you-know-where. He just seems to know the future. Well, if you're an actual really intelligent person, you're going to sit here and say, I can't predict the future because there are an infinite number of things that could happen in the future that could potentially affect the stock market. The stock market could crash massively next year. The stock market could trade flat next year. The stock market could moon next year. Nobody freaking knows. And if you think you know and you can predict this stuff, you are obviously full of crap and you should not be trusted whatsoever.
Bitcoin halving was in May of 2020. The next Bitcoin halving will be in the first half of 2024. It's most likely going to take about 12 to 18 months for Bitcoin to peak from that halving event. Therefore, we can expect the peak of the next bull run to be in the middle of 2025, plus or minus a few months, because as I said, 12 to 18 months. So that is the baseline scenario.
So he says the peak is going to be in 2025. Okay, here's the real grift right here. Even if he's wrong, he will have been on YouTube for another 2 years saying all these predictions, and the amount of ad revenue, and I don't know if he takes sponsorships or not, but whatever. The amount of ad revenue that he's going to generate just from talking about this stuff and pretending to be a crypto genius because he knows how to analyze fundamentally worthless assets, he's going to win no matter what. That's the grift. You can say something, you can make a prediction 3 years out, and by the time that comes around, well, maybe you're right, and you can say you're a genius again and then make another prediction. But if you're wrong, you've already made so much money, it doesn't matter. And you can justify it away if you're wrong and say, well, I didn't predict this was going to happen. Nobody could have predicted that. The guy can't lose.
Now, I want you to think about it. I just told you about 2023, 2024, and 2025. Let me explain this to you in more depth. 2023, we get a teaser rally because sooner or later, the Federal Reserve will have to fully pivot. There's going to be 3 stages of the pivots. You can check out my Fed pivot video. There's a lot of overlap between the stock market and the crypto market when we're talking about the Federal Reserve and monetary policy. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. When the Federal Reserve fully pivots, what's going to happen? They're going to cut interest rates and quantitative tightening will end. So what's going to be the consequence of that? It's going to be 2 things. The first thing is economic expansion, which is going to be good for cryptos. And the second thing, the US dollar will weaken. This is going to be good for most commodities, and that's going to include Bitcoin. Currently, quantitative tightening is
Bitcoin is not a commodity. Lumber's a commodity. Gold's a commodity. There's plenty of commodities that are real things. Bitcoin is not a commodity. It's a fundamentally worthless asset that could be substituted for any other fundamentally worthless asset that could be concocted out of thin air. And he's also not talking about the potential consequences of regulation on this garbage, because the stock market is already pretty heavily regulated. The crypto market is not. And if those regulations come in, that could have severe adverse consequences on the future of crypto. We'll see.
Crushing the financial markets. We're talking about the debt market, the stock market. The crypto market is no exception. You might as well throw in the real estate market as well. So how do you think I saw this coming? I'm not a magician. I just know the Federal Reserve, financial markets, and economics. So that's how I knew that all of this would happen as I predicted. So my question is, how did you not see this coming? If it's because of inexperience, I get it. I mean, everyone starts off as a beginner. So I'm here to educate you, so you should really consider subscribing. Now, let me give you an inevitable fact. This cannot be contested. This is factual, inevitable, unavoidable, 100% going to happen. Currently, the dollar's strength is ridiculously strong relative to other currencies. It's because of a tighter monetary policy by the Federal Reserve to fight inflation. We all know that. So this is a headwind for Bitcoin and for all cryptos. Quantitative tightening and dollar strength will reverse course. It is inevitable. It's just a matter of time. So with what I just told you, how could you not make money off the situation? If you want more,
because crypto exchanges have been collapsing and there's the threat of massive regulation and it's fundamentally worthless, maybe that's some possibilities right there.
Information on this. I already made a detailed video on this. The reversal is expected to occur in 2023. It's because the federal government took on too much debt to fund their excessive spending. So the federal government will not be able to afford the interest payments if these tighter monetary conditions persist for much longer. They will have to pivot, and I expect that pivot to happen in 2023. Interest rates will be cut and the dollar will weaken. That's 2023. In 2024, we get the Bitcoin halving. That's when we're quietly going to begin the next bull run. The actual halving event, so don't get confused on this. The actual event, it's not going to be met with fireworks and a big pop in price. It's going to be quite the contrary. It's going to be very uneventful. Then in 2025, because of basic economics, supply and demands from the 2024 halving, and a favorable macroeconomic environment, that's going to be a tailwind for cryptos. 2025, that's when you want to get out, you want to buy low and sell high. You want to get out at the top. Even though I'm telling you all of this, people are still going to screw it up. I know it, it's guaranteed. People are going to get impatient. They're going to FOMO into buying shit coins. They're going to get suckered into pump and dumps. They're going to get greedy. They're going to get emotional. People are going to be irrational. Additionally, people are going to mess up their entries, their exits, and bankroll management. So quick word of advice. If you're going to buy something, whether it's going to be a stock or a crypto, you don't just go all in. You need to take staggered approaches, DCA. The same thing is going to apply to when you sell your exits. Listen, if you don't know what you're doing, just please be careful. I would recommend that you learn as quickly as possible, as much as possible. Use common sense and just watch yourself. Just be careful. I'm also inviting you to join our Patreon page. We have exclusive content over there.
Sign up for my Patreon, bro. We'll do a video on that eventually. So basically the whole point of this video was he knows economics. He understands cycles. He looked in the past. He had a great prediction on crypto. He was right one time. And therefore, you should trust him and listen to his future advice and sign up for his Patreon. Man, I'm going to do that too. I'm going to make broad sweeping statements about something, put predictions way out into the future, and even if I'm wrong, by the time that comes around, I'll have already made so much money, it's unbelievable. Because what's going to happen? Let's say crypto crashes, like absolutely gets wrecked. Well, he could be like, well, it's 2025, you gotta wait for the Bitcoin halving, and then you gotta wait for the bull market, okay? He can keep playing the game. Jeremy LaFufu does the same thing. He did the same thing with Tattooed Chef stock. Oh, just keep buying the dip. Eventually, it's gonna go back up. No, Crypto does not go in predictable cycles because it has no value, and past performance has no measure on future performance, especially with something that has no intrinsic value. This is a very interesting character, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Talk to you guys soon. Cheers!